Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us from whatever part of the world you're joining us, we are having Thrivers this morning. It's going to be such great fun. And we have a really great speaker lined up for today, as we always do here at Thrivers. Um, but before that, we're going to be right back. Hello, hello, welcome back. Welcome back. It's going to be we're going to have a wonderful time today. This is Thrivers. I'm going to be telling you what Thrivers is if you're on my page for the first time. We have a wonderful guest today, and we're going to be talking about a really important topic today that it's the beginning of the year, and we need to set up ourselves to thrive in the new year, and there are steps to do that. And so we're going to be talking about concrete steps to take to thrive so that you set yourself up this year to end up the year with a really great outlook as you look back. um, but to begin, if you are here, please let us know where you're tuning in from, and let us know how it is where you are. And so to begin, Thrivers, if you've never been on my page, also tell us if you're catching a replay, because we may not be able to see who's tuning on later on. So if you've never been on my page, Thrivers is a platform where we talk to women from all walks of life, and we talk about various topics. We want to learn from these women. We talk about women. We talk to women from all walks of lives who are at the peak of their fields, who have achieved success in their various fields, or women who have overcome obstacles to be where they are, so that we can learn from one another. And so today is not an exception. We have a really awesome speaker that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. And so if you are joining us, let us know where you're joining us from so that we can say hi to you. I see my sister Pepi Amani from here, from Canada, from Calgary. Thank you, sis, for joining us. And so I am today with Dr. Virginia Chepete. Dr. Virginia Chepet. I'm going to read her bio here so that you get to know who this amazing woman is. Dr. Virginia Chepet is a medical doctor in private practice, running her private clinic called Phase 2 Health Center and an aesthetic spa called Amani Aesthetic Spa. That's interesting because we just had a Pepi Amani on saying hello to us here. She practices as a general practitioner with special interest in medical aesthetics and lifestyle medicine. 10 years experience as a doctor. She's also a certified transformation coach and network marketing professional with 15 years of experience. She's a top distributor in Botswana in a network marketing company and top 1% worldwide. She's also a public speaker and has done talks for many companies. She's also a mother and a daughter to an almost 4-year-old. So her life is full in all spheres. She's a thriving woman. All right, I'm going to bring Dr. Virginia Chepeta up, and then we'll start our chat. Dr. Chepeta, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for accepting our invite, first of all, and for joining us today. We know that you have such a wide experience, and we're happy to come and learn from you in this matter.
Thank you so much, and good evening. Good evening to everyone out there. I'm so happy and grateful to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. So today we're talking about setting yourself up to thrive in 2025. Now, there are many different people talk about how 2024 was a challenging year in different ways. But every year here at Thrivers, even last year we did this. We'll have a speaker on to talk about setting yourself up to thrive in the new year. But sometimes people say, well, these new year things, you set your goals every year. Do they work? And what do you say about that, Dr. Chepet?
Okay. So first of all, 2024 was definitely a challenging year. Okay. It was challenging for so many people, myself included. I had challenges in my businesses. I had challenges in different areas of my life. But here's the thing. If you say 2024 was challenging and therefore you are not going to set goals for 2025, what you are basically saying is that you are setting yourself up for failure. Because you don't set goals for 2025, what direction are you going to follow? What roadmap are you going to follow? So for me, the way I see goals is that goals are the roadmap that take you to a particular destination, okay? And if you don't set those goals, you are just going to be walking aimlessly. It's like me saying I'm going to Molapolle and I don't even know where Molapolle is. I don't have a roadmap. I don't even know the direction. I'm just going to walk and hope that, eventually I'll arrive in Molapolle. It doesn't work like that. So even though 2024 was a challenging year, what I believe is we need to sit down, reflect, and think about the challenges that we went through. What challenges did we go through? What can we learn from those challenges? That's the first important thing, okay? Because there are always lessons to learn when you go through challenges. And I actually believe that you learn a lot of lessons. You grow a lot when you are going through tough times, when you are going through trying times. So we all need to sit down, reflect, think about everything that we went through in 2024 and ask ourselves, what lessons can I get out of here? What can I do better in 2025? How can I make sure that I thrive in 2025? How can I make sure that I achieve my goals in 2025? So that's the first important thing.
Yeah, truly. So analyze, see where you failed, and then take it from there to plan for the year ahead. That's wonderful. I've heard one of the I can't remember if it's Brian Tracy or one of these guys who are very in the networking space. He talks about if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. That's wonderful. Now, we know that, there are people who succeed generally in life. There are people we see who are thriving, who are doing great things in their lives. And there are people that lives just seems to be just perpetually difficult. What is the one thing that holds people back from succeeding and thriving in their lives, and what can they do about that? If someone says, I don't know, life, it's not just last year that was challenging, every year, and the year before that, and the year before that, they can still go back to 10 years, and just life has been continually challenging for them. What holds people back from succeeding, and what can they do about it?
Okay. So the first important thing to understand is that success is not a smooth journey. Okay. That's the first important thing to understand. And I think when you understand that, even when you are going through challenges, you know that this is all part of the journey. Okay. It's all part of this whole journey of success. And you understand that, okay, it's part of the journey, but it's not going to last forever. It's just one season that will pass. So when you understand that, first of all, it's going to help you, because you are not going to stay in that season where you are like, you know what, for me, things just never work out, so I'm not even going to try. So you will still keep pushing, and you will still keep going, knowing that this is just a season that will pass. And your season might take 10 years, because there are certain things that you need to learn in those 10 years. Someone's dark season or winter season might take a year, and after a year of challenges, they are thriving, they are succeeding. So it's all about knowing that it's all part of the journey, and your journey is different from others. Okay. And your season of winter, your season of struggles might take 10 years, while it takes 5 years for another person. So it's all about you focusing on your own journey and knowing that your journey is different. So that's the first thing. So the one thing that keeps people from succeeding, apart from the fact that, some people don't understand that this is a journey, and all of this is all part of the journey. You struggling or facing challenges is all part of the journey. That's the first thing. The other thing is, lack of consistency. Someone starts a project today, and 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, already you want results. It doesn't work like that, especially in the world of business. I'm a businesswoman, so in the business world, it doesn't work like that. You can't start a project today, and then 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, you are like, where are my results? So very important to be consistent and patient. And understand the law of sowing and reaping. You cannot plant today and then tomorrow you go to the field and say, where's my crop? I want to harvest. So number one, understand that success is not a smooth journey. Number two, be consistent and patient. And number three, having limiting beliefs is one of the things as well that keeps people from succeeding. Limiting beliefs, you don't believe that you are worthy. You don't believe that you have what it takes to achieve your goals, to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And, whatever you are speaking over your life, because of the limiting beliefs that you have, is not aligned with what you want to achieve. So, you say, I am shy, I'm not good enough, I'm not good with sales, I'm not good with that, I'm not good with that. If you are speaking like that over your life, you are not going to succeed. I'm telling you, you will work, but if what you are saying and what you are thinking is not aligned with what you want to achieve, then you are not going to achieve anything. So you'll be thinking, you know what? For me, I work hard year in, year out, and I'm not getting results. Well, it's because whatever you are speaking, whatever you are thinking is not aligned with what you want to see manifesting in your life. So very, very important to work on those limiting beliefs. The other thing is procrastination, telling yourself that, you know what, beginning of the year, I'm going to lose weight. Beginning of the year, I'm going to start a new business. Beginning of the year, I'm going to do this. And then beginning of the year comes and you're thinking, it's January. I can't do this now. I'll do this in Feb. I'll do it in March. Before you know it, the year is done and another year is done. Before you know it, it's 10 years later and you haven't done it yourself. So that's another thing that hinders people from achieving whatever they want to achieve. The other thing that I'm thinking about is fear. And fear comes in so many forms. It could be fear of judgment. In our language, we always say batho ba tla reng. And I mean, I've experienced that myself. when I started my network marketing business, I was a second-year medical student. And you can imagine, as a medical student, someday you are going to be a doctor and you are starting this network marketing thing that a lot of people look down upon. And for me, it's something that I knew I wanted to do. And I didn't care what people said. I didn't have that fear of judgment. I told myself that this resonates with me. It resonates with the vision that I have for my life, and I'm going to do it. So fear of judgment, fear of failure, when you embrace failure and you know that it's also part of the success journey, you are going to have ups and downs. You are going to fail in some instances. You are going to win in some instances. It's all part of the journey, then you won't have fear of failure. So, and just fear in general, like what if I don't make it? Or what if I don't do well? What if I put myself out there and I fail, So yeah, those are some of the things that are coming to my mind right now.
Wow, that is wonderful. And that is a lot. That is a lot to take away from this limiting beliefs, procrastination, lack of consistency. Someone says this is powerful teachings. That's my daughter Imelda Tembo. And I also want to acknowledge that my husband is here, the high priest of my household. He's commenting. I see you, Rev. Thank you so much for being here. Bokamal says you are a star, Dr. V. Indeed she is. Indeed she is. Thank you, Dr. V, for that. Yeah, this is powerful. I hope that people will take away from this and they can begin to turn their lives around, understanding that these success is a journey, as you mentioned, and all these things they can take to mind and change their lives. Now, some of these you already talked about, but we often hear that mindset is important in being successful. We know that to be true. Can you maybe add a little bit on that? You already talked about limiting beliefs. Now, what is mindset? Because sometimes these terms, we say them, but we don't really understand what they mean. What is mindset, and how does one attain the mindset that helps them to be successful this year?
Yeah. So I've already touched on it a little bit, but in basic terms, mindset is basically how you see yourself and how you see the world. Okay. And this is very important for success, because if I see myself as someone who is great with sales, if I see myself as someone who is a great doctor, a great speaker, guess what? My actions are going to follow that. But if I see myself as someone maybe who is not good with public speaking, someone who is not good with sales, what I do is going to follow that. Okay. So I talked earlier about the fact that you create your reality with the thoughts you think and the words you say. And if you think positive thoughts, you say positive words, you see yourself in a positive manner, your actions are going to follow that. So for me in my business, and even in my career, I've always seen myself as, great with people, great with sales. And because of that, even when I'm not performing well in my business, I would know that, okay, this is temporary because I'm good at this and I'm meant to be the best in my field. I'm meant to be the first person in Botswana to reach this level in my network marketing business. And I actually believed that when I started my network marketing business. Back then, there's a level in our company called President Team, and we didn't have anyone in our country at that level. And I truly believed, like I really saw myself with my eyes of faith. I saw myself being the first person to achieve that level. A lot of people didn't believe that someone from Botswana, a small country, 2.5 million, I can't remember what our population is at the moment, a very small country, they didn't believe that it was possible to have someone achieving that level. But guess what? Because I saw myself with, my eyes of faith, I really saw myself achieving that. I believed it from day one. And 9 years into my journey, it didn't happen overnight. 9 years into my journey, I achieved that, and I went on to achieve it like 3 times. Okay, so and it was influenced by my mindset. It was influenced by the fact that the way I saw myself, the way I perceived my abilities and what I can do was positive, and it was aligned with that vision. So very important, no matter what is happening. And by the way, it doesn't matter what you are currently going through. It doesn't matter what has happened to you in the past. It doesn't matter what challenges you faced in 2024. The most important question is, how do you see yourself right now? How do you see your future? What do you see for yourself in the future? Do you believe that whatever goals you want to achieve, you have what it takes to achieve those goals, despite, facing challenges in the past and, going through all kinds of things in 2024 or in the past? So, yeah.
Yeah. That's really true. It doesn't matter what has happened in this year. The only way to go forward is to think about going forward and to see yourself there. Congratulations
and
on
also
your
just to add on to that, people need to also learn to speak life over their lives. What we call affirmations. So instead of saying, I'm shy, I'm not good enough, I'm not good at that, start saying, I'm amazing, I'm confident, I'm great at sales, I'm a great doctor, I'm a great whatever you do. And start seeing yourself differently, start seeing yourself in that positive manner. And I'm telling you, it's going to give you a lot of energy, it's going to pump you up. And every day as you get some work done, you are going to get some work done with that at the back of your mind, knowing that you have what it takes to achieve whatever it is that you are working towards.
Yeah. So I think, okay, the next question, I think you've already kind of answered that. So you've talked about obstacles, like in last year, for instance, that we're saying many people had obstacles, many people had challenges in the last year. Now, how do we navigate that? How do we navigate personal obstacles and thrive despite that there are these challenges and all of us are going to have challenges at different times in our lives. And so how do we move through those times to kind of succeed and go past those times and thrive despite them?
Yeah. So I'll share my story a little bit. I grew up in a rough environment. I grew up in an environment of domestic violence, an environment of poverty. And obviously, if you grow up in an environment like that, there are two options. You can either grow up to be someone without a good future. You can grow up to be, you can literally follow the path of what you grew up seeing, because I grew up seeing violence, a lot of violence in my environment, a lot of alcohol addiction and all of that. So you can take that path, or you can take the path that I decided to take, the path where you say, you know what, this is where I come from, this is what is happening to me right now, but I'm going to have a different future. I'm going to create a different future for myself. So how do I create that different future for myself? For me, I started by reading books. I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill when I was 14, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I think I was around 14, 15, somewhere there. And I started believing that, you know what, even though I am going through this, I can have a different future. And, throughout my journey, I really worked hard on myself. And at some point, I even involved professionals as well, where I felt like, okay, you know what, I don't think I can do this on my own. Maybe I need to go see a psychologist. I need to go see a psychiatrist. I did exactly that. Okay, so it depends. 2024 was tough for a lot of people, but maybe whatever you went through is something that you can just work on your own. You can, like, for example, in my business, I had thieves breaking in at my premises
Oh
and,
my gosh.
stealing very expensive equipment that I use in my aesthetic practice, things like that. But, those are some of the things that it's not gonna take me forever to get through that. When that happens, the first question is, why did this happen and how can I prevent it from not happening again? Do I need to maybe intensify my security measures? What do I need to do? Have I insured this thing? Can I claim from insurance? What can I do next time to make sure that I don't go through this? So I'm sharing my story, what I went through when I was young. That one, it wasn't something that I could get through overnight. I needed to work on myself for a longer period of time, and even involved professionals. So it took time for me to deal with my past and get over it. And now I'm completely healed. I'm completely over it. But it took time. But something like thieves breaking in, it hurt, because can you imagine they steal something worth 250,000 pula? That's a lot of money, but it's something that I can deal with, in a short space of time, and I'm over it. I put some measures in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So just like I said earlier, just sit down and reflect. What did you go through last year? What have you gone through in the past? And what lessons can you get from that? What can you do differently in 2025? And most importantly, know that your past doesn't determine your future. I grew up in that tough, rough environment, but right now, my present is amazing. I'm living this beautiful life that I've created for myself, from my hard work and from working on myself. I am this super positive person, despite what I went through in the past, because I've done this inner work on myself. And I know that, I create my reality with the thoughts I think, the words I say, and I make sure that I surround myself, with a positive environment, with positive people who are adding to my life and not always taking away from my life. So get those lessons. And then from there, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve this year? Write those goals down and be intentional about achieving those goals. Tell yourself that I have what it takes to achieve these goals. After writing them down, you are going to break them down into smaller goals. So you'll write the goals for the whole year, and then you ask yourself, what do I need to be doing every month to work towards this goal? What do I need to be doing every month to work towards this goal? Is the roadmap that I was talking about at the beginning of the call. Once you've done that, you have your goals for the whole year. You break them down into smaller goals. And, you from there, you have your daily to-do list that is feeding into the monthly goals. The monthly goals are feeding into the yearly goals. And you are intentional about working hard every day, doing what needs to be done every day to achieve those goals. Your chances of success are very high. And, sometimes, we set the goals and they don't happen that year. It has happened to me so many times. When I told myself that I want to be the first person in Botswana to achieve that level, every year I was setting that goal until it eventually happened. So just know that when you don't achieve something this year, it doesn't mean that, okay, it's never going to happen. Just get your lessons and then set the goal again and keep going until you achieve it. So yeah, I've said a lot. Let me pause.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. We're here to listen. Yeah. So your story is very powerful. That you grew up in a certain environment, a certain environment where there was poverty, alcohol, and violence, and all of that. And I think that many people, many of us who at least come from Botswana or parts of Africa, we can relate to that story. We grew up in areas where there weren't examples of success that we could look to and emulate. And so that example, is a perfect example to everybody, to all of us, that you can rise from that kind of environment to live a thriving life. Yeah, so you talked a little bit, which is social environment, right? The social
Yeah.
environment that you come from matters a lot. Now, here at Thrivers, in fact, Thrivers came from a scripture, John chapter 10, verse 10, that says, "The thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I am come that you may have life and have it more abundantly." So that's where Thrivers came from. And from the Bible, for instance, we know that Jesus, the Lord Jesus himself, was born in a barn, in a manger. So we often say you can be born in a manger, but you don't have to grow up in a manger. You don't have to stay in the manger. You can rise and be the savior, the savior of the world. Jesus was, anyways. We can't save anyone, but the Lord did. So speaking of social environment, is there a particular type of, you already alluded to it a little bit, maybe we can talk about it a little more. What does the social environment that helps you to succeed look like? And for instance, if you are surrounded by people who aren't helping you to be lifted up, what can you do to get to an environment that helps you to thrive?
Yeah, it's very important to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who add to your life, people who are positive. Not obviously you can't be positive 24/7. We know that we are human. Sometimes
Yeah.
you can be a little bit negative and stuff like that. But in general, if you are surrounded by people who are not people who don't dream, people who don't have a vision, people who are always negative, people who are always complaining, no matter how much you work on yourself, no matter how positive you are, eventually it's going to rub off on you. We always say you are the average of people that you surround yourself with. So very important to make sure that you are intentional about your environment, you are intentional about people that you surround yourself with. So going to church as an example, and being part of a home style. By doing that, definitely that's a positive environment. That's an environment of people who are going to be encouraging you, people who are going to be praying for you, people who are going to be adding to you. So things like that. And even on social media, who do you follow on social media? I mean, the people that I follow, when I scroll through, I don't scroll a lot because I'm always busy. I come on, I post, and then I get busy with something else. But when I do have time to scroll, it's a lot of motivation. It's a lot of inspiration. It's posts that add into my life instead of negativity. So yeah, very important to be intentional about it.
Yeah, that's great, especially the social media, because a lot of people live on social media. And so yeah, what we do see really does influence the way we see ourselves and what we do. They said that Instagram, for instance, is one of the causes of low self-esteem in teenage girls, because they see these models, they see this lifestyle that is curated, and then they think, I can't attain that, and then it affects their life. So I really agree with that. It's really important to be determined to cull off negativity from your news feed. Now, there's many people will say, well, it's all great that you're talking about this succeeding in 2025 and doing all of these things, but if someone says they do not have the finances to allow them to succeed, what would you say to them?
Yeah, start where you are with what you have. In most cases, you don't need a lot of money to get started. And start small, start with what you have. And I'll share my story again. So when I was growing up, with the environment that I grew up in, my mom was a street vendor. She was the one putting food on the table for us. So she was selling stuff by the side of the road. And guess what? When I finished my Form 5, I was like, I need to make money for myself because my mom is not making enough. So if I need money for something, I'll get this detailed explanation to say, today I didn't make enough and I need to buy food, I need to buy this. So I also decided to open my own little tuck shop not far from her. So I became a street vendor while waiting for my Form 5 results. With that money, I was able to get my driver's license. I was able to pay for driving school and get my driver's license. Our results came out, did very well. One of the top students in the country, went to UB to do pre-medical program. And guess what? When I was at UB, when we were all complaining that allowance wasn't enough, I decided to sell airtime. So with that little profit that I was making selling airtime, I was able to supplement my allowance. After 3 semesters, I got transferred to University of Pretoria. I get there, allowance, as we all know, never enough. And I continued selling airtime because I knew I couldn't get money from home. From selling airtime with the little profit that I was making, I then started with my network marketing business, very low startup cost. I built it. And over time, I was then able to have enough money to open my own clinic. And before I even opened like a big clinic, I started by renting a room from one of the doctors. I was renting just one room. I started from there, my aesthetics practice, before I actually separated the two companies. And, now I have this 10-roomed building that I'm renting. And, but I had to start from that one-roomed office that I was renting. And then from there, when I had enough money, I moved to CBD, a bigger space. From CBD, I'm now in phase 2 at a bigger space. So this is just to say, be patient. And if you can't get funding from somewhere, just start with what you have. What can you do right now that doesn't need a lot of startup capital? Start with that. And then as you make enough, you can then invest into your next project, and you build it like that. I think the mistake that we make sometimes is to be impatient and to want overnight success. Okay. You see someone saying, oh, I'm the top distributor in our country, top 1%. I'm running my own clinic. I have an aesthetic spa. I'm driving this car, I'm living in this area, and you are thinking, my goodness, that's amazing. But it's not results that happened overnight. It's results that happened over time. It's years and years of hard work, years and years of persevering, coming across challenges and, picking yourself up as you come across challenges, and you keep going, you keep persevering, you keep doing the work until eventually you come to a point where everyone says, wow, she's amazing. Wow, she has achieved all these things. So start with what you have, start small, and then build from there.
That Dr. V, that is great. That is fantastic. And your story, as I say once again, is amazing. It's really great to hear that, and I hope that people can learn from that and just start small, and like you're saying, start where you are, and keep going and keep going. Yeah, so that's how you do when you don't have the enough finances to allow you to succeed, if you think that. Now, I think you've already talked about some of these steps, but let's talk about some of the practical steps that people can do to thrive and succeed this year. What's the first thing? If someone says, okay, where do I start? What's the first thing that I need to do? And maybe talk about a couple of steps to go from there.
Yeah, I've already talked about it earlier, but I think I'll just summarize it again. I think the most important thing is to always start with reflection, like I said, and then from there you set those goals, you break them down, and then from there, like the whole thing that I explained earlier, break them down into monthly goals and then your daily to-do list, and then from there work on yourself. Okay, every morning make sure that you wake up, you have an hour where you are focusing on yourself. And you'll do different things because, whatever resonates with you. For me, my power hour in the morning, that hour where I'm working on myself, I make sure that I read my Bible, I pray, I make sure that I do some declarations. Remember I talked about speaking life over your life. I start doing those declarations and I speak life over my life. I speak life over my daughter, my businesses, and I do those declarations. And doing that helps a lot with filling me up, because when I come across challenges during the day, I'm already overflowing. And those challenges, yes, they'll drain my energy a little bit, but they will not bring me down. So for me, that's how I manage to thrive year in, year out. Like, my consistency, I believe, is amazing. My positive energy is like I have energy for days. And it's because of my morning routine, how I start my day. So reading my Bible, praying, doing the declarations. And then when I'm waking out, I'm listening to some motivational videos, when I'm driving to work, it's either I'm listening to a podcast, listening to gospel music. So I'm always feeding myself. I'm always making sure that whether it's me driving to work, me at the office, or waking out, I'm pouring all that positivity into my mind. Because guess what? If you don't do that, you are going to set those goals, you are going to break them down, you are going to have that beautiful to-do list. And then 2 days down the line, 2 weeks down the line, you come across challenges and you think, you know what, I can't do this. And you throw in the towel. So yeah, very important to have that morning routine and stick to it. And the nice thing is, when things are going well, it's very easy to wake up and pray and listen to all these motivational things. But when you are going through tough times, believe me, I know from experience, it's very difficult to have the same energy and the same excitement about working on yourself. So the beauty of doing this consistently is that on days where you are not able to do it, guess what? They are already there somewhere in the reserves of your mind. And you will hear Les Brown saying, it's not over until you win. You will hear that, that gospel song ministering to you. Those things will be there in the reserves of your mind. So when things are going well for you, intensify working on yourself, so that when you don't feel like doing it, you will then use what you have in your reserves. So yeah.
That is powerful. That's powerful. Now, you talk about the morning routine, and within your morning routine, reading the Bible. This was not in the questions, but I want to ask you, how important is faith in your life? Faith in God, like how important is your relationship with God and your faith in God in succeeding?
Yeah, you know what? It's very, very important. And for me, with the way I grew up and the environment I grew up in, I didn't really grow up going to church or anything like that, but I always knew that God was on my side. I always believed, when you just believe without really going to church, without anyone ministering to you. So that's how I grew up. I always knew that God was there on my side. But now, as an adult, this helped me a lot, especially last year, with all the challenges that I was facing, thieves breaking in and everything. I go to church and believe me, I get pumped up. I pray in the morning. And you know what? When you want to instantly feel peaceful, when you want to instantly feel better, just pray. And it doesn't have to be perfect prayer. My prayers are very simple. I just have a conversation with God, and that is so powerful. Immediately I feel peaceful. Immediately I feel, energized. So for me, it's very important to have that faith and to trust that whatever happens in my life is for my highest good. To trust that even when I'm going through challenges, it's for my highest good. I need to learn something from that. And to trust that God wants only the best for me. And I just need to keep trusting Him to do His part. I do my part, and eventually I'll get the success that I need. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that part, especially where you say He does His part and you do your part, it's very important, because many believers just trust God and then they do nothing.
Yeah.
And then nothing happens. You can't just say amen and do nothing. So yeah, to your point, believing in God and living that faith, but also, faith without works is dead, the Bible says.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Dr. V, we've come to the end of our program. So thank you so much for all the nuggets and the tidbits that you've shared. I hope that people are going to take away from this and make that 2025 a really great one. Now, where can people find you on social media? And are there any resources that people can purchase from you? Even following you? Yeah. Where do we find you?
Yeah, so I'm in all social media platforms. Just search my name, Dr. Virginia Chepete. You will find me. I have links as well. I have a link on my bio. The one that I currently have is only for registering for transformation coaching and the challenges that I run on a monthly basis. But I'm actually going to update it in the morning and include another link where you can get some digital products, you can get some online courses. I have an 8 weeks course on self-care and finding balance in your life. So I'll make sure that I update the link tomorrow. But for now, you can just follow me. Feel free to DM and we'll take it from there.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Chepete. Thank you, everyone who's online who stayed with us from the beginning or who's joined us. Tebogo Ncube, I see you. My sister, she's in the UK. And my very own baby brother, Muduedi Hamunta, I see you, bro. I saw my other sister here, Lusungu Messi Piri. Yeah, thank you everyone. Bokam Molf, Imelda, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope this has been fruitful to you. I know it has been to me. So thank you, Dr. Chepete, for that. And yeah, we'll see everyone at the next Thrivers. By the way,
thank you so much.
I know that Chepete is in Radicil. So where do you come from?
I come from Molepolle.
Oh,
it's
okay.
in many villages in Botswana. It's everywhere.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
accepting our
much.
invitation and being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. You heard Dr. Chepete. That was powerful. That was wonderful. So we hope that you can take from that, you have gleaned from that, and you can go and make 2025 a great one by being writing those goals, being consistent, having a morning routine, let go of limiting beliefs. Self-belief is important, as she mentioned. All those things that she mentioned. I hope you've written them down. You can go back later. You can come back here and watch what she said and really learn from that and make your 2025 a successful one. Thank you, everyone. We will see you at the next Thrivers. Thank you.